Hello, friends. It's time for Talk Fort Dodge, the show that uncovers the stories behind the houses and the heart of our community. I'm Jeremiahjcondon.
And I'm Todd McCubbin, and today we are here with Jenny Condon. But before we introduce Jenny, let's talk about the market.
Market update. I was reading this morning where it said that it is a seller's market in the state of Iowa. And I don't know if I would buy that 100% in our immediate area.
I think it's different up here.
I do too.
It's been weird. I mean, the number of houses that should sell fast that haven't.
Yep.
The phone calls. We talk about the gallery, new builds in gallery that are just kind of like, has anybody looked? And I'm like, yeah, people have looked, but it doesn't have the anxiety or the anticipation like it did.
I would say it's a seller's market in the fact that there's low inventory, but it's a buyer's market because people aren't overpaying. You know, like you go to Denver and people pay $50,000 over the asking still, and it's like, that's not here.
It's not like that here.
Nope.
Nope.
So averages are the same. I like to say this almost every show lately. The average sale in America is $430,000 now.
Yep.
Iowa, it's $240,000, and in Fort Dodge, it's $160,000.
Send that to all your friends that are thinking about moving somewhere that they need to move to Fort Dodge just because housing's that much more affordable.
And then they can listen to all of our episodes.
And learn all about Fort Dodge.
Yes.
I did a community tour the other day. And as we're driving through town, I'm like, yeah, this is this. And, oh, yeah, I have a podcast that he's on it. And then, and that's the fire station. Yeah, the fire chief was on our podcast, too. And then, that's a police station. Well, we did a podcast with the police chief.
Yep.
It's just kind of like you get to meet everybody in town just by listening to this one station.
So I thought since we have a healthcare provider today, we would look at some healthcare real estate facts.
All right.
And what I mean by that is, did you know that healthcare real estate is a major investment category, $1 trillion in the United States? I
believe that.
Yeah. So like where the hospital sits on, and all the rental and just $1 million. $1 trillion, not million.
That's a big number.
Yes. So some historic hospitals have been repurposed into luxury residential spaces. Examples include the Royal Maternity Hospital in Edinburgh. So even when the hospitals go out of business, they turn them into these big luxurious houses.
Maybe that's what the hospital should do with the third and fourth floor up there that have been empty forever. Mm-hmm. I'll talk to Leah.
My sister lives in a place like that. Remember that when she lived on that rooftop place?
Yeah.
That used to be an old hospital. Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy?
I don't know if I would want to live at the hospital.
I hear there enough.
Yes. Yes. Too much.
So there's a lot more, but let's get on to Jenny.
Awesome. So Jenny, tell us about yourself.
Well, I am married to this very handsome man here.
She said it.
Yeah. Are we going to meet him?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, he's sitting across from me.
She likes me because I have all my hair.
On Talk Fort Dodge. I have 4 children. I have 2 girls, 2 boys. Samantha is 12. Isabel's 10. Benjamin's 8, and Isaac is 6. They all go to St Edmond, and that is wonderful because it's one drop-off, 1 pickup.
Yeah.
Makes our lives a little easier and less chaotic. I work at the hospital, and I have been there, I believe, coming up for 18 years, which is...
It's funny how time flies.
I know. And I will tell patients that, and they're like, you don't look like you could have been here for 18 years. I'm like, that's the goal.
That's why I do this.
Yeah. Yep. But I have I started right out of nursing school at the age of 21 in the ICU, and developed a lot of good relationships with providers and with nursing staff, and then I advanced my education and I became a nurse practitioner. And I currently work, and I have always worked as a nurse practitioner in the pulmonary and sleep medicine clinic with Unity Point. And so I've been there now for 13 years, and we have grown our practice with additional providers, and we have kind of become a main hub for this area. For sleep medicine and for all the different pulmonary ailments that we see.
So you've worked in urgent care and Where else?
Nope. I've worked in ICU
Okay.
as a nurse, and then I worked in pulmonary and sleep medicine clinics. So I've just been
Do
in
you have
those.
2 jobs.
Do you have a favorite? We won't tell anybody if you do.
Well, my nurse, she is my favorite. You mean like
The place to work. What do you like?
I mean, I love my job now because part of the reason I went back to school was because I love education. I love learning. I wanted that autonomy of my schedule. And even though I'm busy and sometimes it doesn't feel like I have a lot of control, I do have a lot of flexibility when
Right.
it comes to time off and with my schedule, and my patients are really great and understanding. And so,
How many patients a day do you usually see typically?
it just depends. I usually work about 3.5 days a week, and that is a very, very good balance. I would not want to work more. And when I do work more than that, it's just everybody's frazzled and they're like, we don't want Jenny working 5 days a week because it's busy. I would say anywhere from like 16 to 20 in a full day. And that can involve new patients, which usually take a little bit longer, but it doesn't matter if it's a new patient or a very established patient, because these patients that are coming into the sleep, or not necessarily sleep, but for pulmonary concerns, they are very sick. Yeah. And they just have a lot of different needs, whether it's oxygen or we're having conversations about symptom management or palliation. And so it can vary, and you just never know what the day is going to bring.
It's kind of like our days. We get that. You never know what's going to happen.
Yes. But the greatest part about the day is, when you have somebody that comes in, they're really tired, they have sleep apnea, you've diagnosed it, they're doing great with it, and they feel so much better. That's a win-win, you know?
I am.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't know this, but when I weighed 335 pounds, I had my CPAP everywhere. I took it all over the world, and all of a sudden one day I'm trying to sleep and it's choking me.
Yeah.
And I take it off and never put it back on again, and actually had another test, and they said, well, you don't have sleep apnea anymore just from losing all that weight. So
yes.
it's crazy how I carried that thing to Mexico, wherever with cruise ships, I'd get the extra extension cord. I mean, all this stuff. And now all of a sudden it's like, all of a sudden one day I'm like, this thing's just choking. It's terrible. And
weight has a lot to do with it. And a lot of times we have to adjust pressures if patients have like a big weight gain or a big weight loss. And, there's actually a new FDA approved medication now for obesity and sleep apnea. And it's
not Ozempic, is it, like everything else?
No, it's not. But it's a similar. It's Zepbound, and okay. And so we've been getting a lot of questions about it, and it's not necessary. It's more of an insurance.
Oh yeah.
Thing, but it is an exciting option for patients because we know that weight can not always directly influence the severity of sleep apnea.
Yeah, it did in me. So I will say that made a big difference.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about how it's grown so much over the last 6 or 7 years, but also that we've become more of a regional hub. Is that a lot to do with it, or is it just the healthiness of the population?
Well, within our office, I should say, like, we have just expanded more. Like, one of my partners, Dr. Meyer, he has pretty much moved into sleep medicine, but he is reading sleep studies across the state. And so we have a lot of sleep studies coming through our office. And as a result, there's been COVID happened, of course. I would say we're seeing a lot more reactive airway and asthmatics. And so I have a couple additional colleagues who have joined over the last few years, and they've been so great in helping, keep my sanity.
Yeah.
Right, honey?
Yep.
We get that.
And Danielle Bergland, and then Jess Von Sack is fairly new within the last couple of years. And so they've been great. But, we are pretty rural when it comes to where we're at, because, patients, I shouldn't say every patient, but there are a lot of people that really don't want to travel to the bigger cities. I mean, Fort Dodge is a big city for them.
We're a regional hub, yeah.
But they don't want to drive interstates and freeways
And when it comes to specialty, like pulmonary medicine or cardiology, sometimes we don't have those outreach clinics. Some do, but oftentimes they do have to travel to kind of a bigger center or a bigger hub. And so I think Fort Dodge is known for that in Northwest Iowa.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And you get the little, like Humboldt Hospital and Pocahontas, they have their little hospitals. But as far as pulmonology, Trinity Heart, some of these bigger ones, you have to come here to get to those. And I mean, can you imagine living in Pocahontas and saying, okay, I either got to drive to Mayo or I have to drive to Des Moines.
Totally.
Or I can just drive to Fort Dodge and see Jenny.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a great resource. And I think they're one of the largest employers in town because of that regional destination where there's so many people north and west of here that there's just no other good option.
We see people from, all the way up from Spencer. I've seen patients from Minnesota. We've seen patients that come from, southern Iowa. And so they really come from all over. And so, yeah.
So kind of a weird question, but it sounds like Dr. Meyer's more into the sleep apnea type thing.
Yes.
And is that something he just wanted to specialize in, and because of that, they started sending all that stuff up here for him to review?
I think it's multifactorial, and I don't want to speak on his behalf, certainly, but I have worked with him for 18 years.
Yeah.
And so first, pulmonary and sleep medicine, they go hand in hand. I mean, they always have gone hand in hand. And so it's really hard to work in pulmonary medicine without focusing on sleep. But there's been a lot of advancements with sleep medicine, with more home sleep tests where patients are getting diagnosed. We're bringing about more awareness of the complications that can occur with sleep apnea. And patients just want to sleep well. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you go to sleep, you don't want to sleep bad, and it really factors into everything. Mm-hmm. And so I think everyone has done a really good job of promoting sleep apnea when it comes to primary care providers, and just kind of word of mouth, right? Like, oh, I love my CPAP machine.
Mm-hmm. I never thought I'd say that the first week. The second week, I never took it off.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, I slept a whole night. That was so crazy.
Yeah. And so, but the other thing too is, he's done this he's been in medicine for, I don't know, decades.
We're not going to say a long time.
A long time. So, and he just, I think, when you can kind of get out of, I guess, seeing patients and dealing with all the new advancements and with the insurance, and you can just kind of be reading sleep studies. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Pretty nice.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, even he can go on vacation and he will read sleep studies.
That does make sense.
And so it's a great, it's working really, really well for us, for everyone.
Yeah.
And so, and I've learned a lot from him, and but keeping up with all of the medication updates and new advancements and just
that was going to be my
changes.
Next question. Is what are the biggest challenges right now?
I would say insurance companies is really, really hard because you know what the patient needs, you know what you need to do, but you either can't do it or you have to go through multiple steps to get it done.
Right.
And the insurance company doesn't explain that to the patient. We have to explain that to the patient, right? Mm-hmm. And so...
so before they have this test, they have to go and see 2 other people?
Possibly. I mean, it depends. Yeah. But medications particularly.
You have to be on this medication before you can be on this medication.
Yes.
Before you can be on this
or
medication.
It's not on a specific formulary. Like this, they can be on a steroid inhaler, but we want them on this one. And so there's additional documentation, but really like the other piece is with pulmonary medicine and with asthma and with COPD now, we have biologic medications, right? Which are medications that work with our inflammatory system, which causes a lot of breathing issues for people. That's primarily what asthma is it's an inflammatory issue. And so biologics are medications, and they can be kind of pricey.
Yeah.
And so, it's good because we have a lot of great options. Even in the years that I've been there, I have seen all of these advancements in medications, but insurance has become, but I've also seen insurance become just difficult to work with.
Right. And I think they do that on purpose because they're on a budget. They can only pay out so much. They want to keep it affordable. So
yeah, we are really at the healthcare. I think the healthcare system is so complex, and it's hard to be on both sides of it because you see it's like, okay, I don't know if all of this stuff is sustainable. The cost, and everyone wants more and more and more, and at the end of the day, the patient it could possibly suffer. And I don't know if there's a good workaround for it. I don't know. I'm glad
find something one of these days, but yeah.
I'm glad I don't have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Technology.
Well,
how has technology changed since you've started?
So, oh boy. So, well, it's been a lot for the better. I mean, we utilize an electronic health record, and we have been able to sync in with different healthcare, hospitals and systems. It's not perfect, but it's better. And that helps that continuity of care for the patient. It helps make sure that we're not ordering unnecessary testing or repeating anything, or the patient's just getting optimal care that way, right? So that's one of the things. Another thing that's been really big in my world is I've been utilizing an AI charting option on my phone. And so it's kind of amazing. I go in and with my patients, and the app records it, and then I generate a note, and it literally will put in a subjective information from the patient, my objective information, my assessment, and my plan. And so what used to take me 10 or 15 minutes in doing a patient note takes me 3 minutes now.
Now you just have to read it to make sure it's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're
Exactly.
proofreading, not writing.
Yeah, and sometimes it's kind of funny because sometimes it's really good too at discerning between like personal conversation and not, but there are some times when it puts in some funny stuff. Like one time I was talking to somebody about bike riding, and I said, I took my little Isaac out for a bike ride, last week, and his little legs just had to pedal so fast to keep up. And when I went back to read my note, it said, Isaac, who is 6, has to pedal very fast in order to keep up on the bike. And I was like, I'm going to take that out.
Yeah. Thanks for catching that. It's funny. But
Yeah.
Todd did something similar at one of our board meetings, and we looked at it later, and our broker had a couple stories in there, and oh my gosh, to read what that said about those stories and people's names that were like in random, and it was hilarious.
Yeah. And it ggets better the more you use it. It takes time to learn your voice.
It does.
And learn all that stuff.
It does. It's kind of a self-learning process, but once you get it figured out, I was going in on the evenings and on weekends for several hours just to catch up on my charts, and even like the mental load of trying to remember, notes for patients. And I could sit there and I could type on my computer, but it really does help to individualize and personalize the care for the patient because I'm able to actually sit and listen to them, actively listen to them, and focus on what their concerns are. And I think that just helps to develop a better rapport.
I agree that would. And that actually leads into what we want to talk about next is what do you do to make people feel like they're heard and they're being treated like they should?
I think I am a natural empath. Empathy is something that you either have or you don't. And so I think I don't know. I guess I just try to follow the golden rule and treat people the way that I would want my family members treated. And, I also think that me being open, and I don't know if I can say this. I mean, I'm going to say it, but me being open to, Jesus and keeping him always in my heart and first and forefront, it allows me to just love people better, right? Because that's what we're all called to do. And so it really allows me to really focus on the person and what their concerns are. And sometimes patients just want somebody to listen to them,
Yep.
right? Whether that's like, okay, sometimes, I'll ask the patient, what do you think is going on? Because they know their body better than I do,
Yep.
right? So it should be a mutual decision of what's our plan? How are we going to move forward, right? Like, I don't just make this plan, but it's something that you want to involve, patients on, family members on. And I'm really big on making sure that that loop of communication is closed. Whether it's somebody doing something for me or me doing something for them, I need to make sure that these things get followed up with, and so whether that's a referral or making sure that they were contacted about lab work or, whatever it is, it just making sure that I do what I say and I
Complete follow through.
just the follow through. Yep.
So what is the most rewarding part of being a healthcare provider?
I think just making lots of connections with people. I mean, every single day I am meeting people or I'm seeing them. They become kind of like my friends, and then you see them out in the community or you see their family members and it all comes back full circle some way, somehow, right? But some of these people too, like, there's just been different things that, they've helped me grow as well. And some of them I've followed for the last 13 years, right? So like they become like family, or you guide them through kind of, the end of life care process, and you get to help them, with that. And, because that's something that everybody has to deal with. But I just try to, I don't know, it's good. And I like, again, the autonomy. I like the autonomy. And I also like that I go into work and I'm never questioning what I do. I never come home and think, oh, man, I should have checked this lab, or maybe I shouldn't have done this. I don't do that. I leave work and I leave work. And I'm very able to cut work out right when I walk out those doors and make those clear boundaries.
That's why they say opposites attract.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like him.
Yeah. Did you see me give him the eye? Yeah, I gave him an eye because we are always
The
talking
work-life
about
balance changes every week.
Yeah, mine too. And we don't have kids at home anymore, so I can do a little more fluid in how we do that. But I get that talk a lot.
Yeah. So, but I do. But I feel good about what I'm going to do, because at the end of the day, even if I don't know exactly what I need to do, there's always a plan B. Like, we're going to continue to work through this, like, however that looks. And so, yeah,
that last answer you gave is such a good answer for a small community, Fort Dodge. It's like you are helping people, and then you go out in the community and you see them.
Yes.
And, like you go in big cities, I'm sure you go to your physician and it's just another number.
Totally.
It's not like you're going to see them later
And you're
that
not
day
gonna
at the
see 'em at
softball
Hy-Vee.
fields.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. You see them at the grocery store, or you see them at church, or
you just take the family to J-Mars, or it's like, I
Yeah.
just
Everywhere you
walked
go.
past 3 of my patients.
yeah, that's exactly right. And And so, yeah, it's good and I enjoy it. And so.
Well, we're going to change topics here.
Okay.
And this is a surprise.
Oh.
It was over 5 years ago. This is where you should be an inspiration to some people.
Okay,
maybe.
great.
Jenny sat down and wrote a bucket list.
I did.
7 or 8 years ago?
I think it was longer than that.
Yeah.
And it was more of a goal list.
Yeah.
But
you wanted to do it. And I
Yes.
think the first thing you did was you wanted to be in a choir. So you did the church choir.
yes.
The church choir had an average age of 85, and Jenny joined it. It came down to 74.
It was not 85, but it was old. Definitely, they were all Medicare eligible, I would have to say. Yeah.
So would you want to tell us why you did that? And have you fulfilled a lot of that bucket list, or is there a lot more to go?
Well, again, I hope I'm not kicking a bucket, but I do have lots of goals and aspirations. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess for me, I'm really big on, I don't have vision boards, right? But I think I've always been somebody that in my mind, I see something that maybe I want to do and I envision it in my mind and it's like driving down the road on the horizon. Like the goal is there and it keeps me working towards that so I can follow through with it. And so that all of them have worked out, right? But like earlier this year, and this is pretty exciting, I had told Jeremiah, I was like, I want to go to the Peloton Studios in New York. I want to do it. And literally like that month, I got on I was able to sign up for a class. And I made it a goal. It was in my head. I knew it was a priority. And so that's just, I don't know. I know some people don't have goals or that's not how they work, but that's how I work. I am really big on strength finders, and we just did this at work. And my main strength is I'm an activator and an achiever and a maximizer. So like you can see.
Listen to her go.
I know.
Go.
So you can see that I'm constantly wanting to do things just, I guess, for the experience.
Oh, yeah. I get that.
This is how Jenny is at home. Do you think we should tear that bush out?
And they're already on the way to tear the bush out.
Yeah, it's like, that wasn't a question. It's like the bush is going to be out in the next 3 days. It's
Yeah.
just like, how is she going to get to
Yes.
getting me to do it?
He has figured that out. Yeah. Like when I want a project done, I want it done right away because it's like, I don't want to hang on this, but yeah, so I don't know. I guess, yeah, the choir was one and, just little things, writing the annual Christmas card. I want to just keep things focused. That's a silly one, but it is easy to fall off course when you get busy,
And as the kids got older too, now it's just Joyce and I, and it'd just be a bunch of vacation pictures if I were to put one together, and that'd be silly. So I'll let the kids do it at this point. They can have the grandkids on there and all that stuff.
Yes. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just the way I am.
Well, you are an author. You want to tell us about the book?
I can, yes. So that was also one of my goals, right? I love to read. And so it just naturally, like, I thought, well, you know what? I would love to write a book. I think everybody at some point maybe wants to write a book, maybe not. I don't know. But no. Well,
I'll make a podcast.
So I don't know. One day I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And I started the ball rolling. I don't know how to write a book. I do now, but I had to kind of work through the steps, and some of it was very frustrating because I didn't know what I was doing. And I did it by myself. But I did it, and I am not out there to retire and make lots of money. I just really wanted to do it for the experience and to say that I did it.
That is really cool. My wife would love to do that. She loves to read. She loves to do that. But
yes,
my head is not built that way.
Yes, I love to read. Yeah, and so
what it's about?
Okay, well, it is. it is called Your Confidence Footprint: How to Leave a Lasting Impression on the World. And so
that's not your foot.
No.
It's not. No. No, it's probably too small. But it is about just, I guess, how to learn more about how to build on your strengths that you already have. So, for instance, I talk about intrinsic confidence, extrinsic confidence, and really, like, for instance, I talk about learning more about yourself. So strength finders, learn about the love languages. Jeremiah knows I'm really big on love languages. And you can do this for your children, for work, for your spouse, in just developing those better relationships and having them work for you. I talk about dressing and, color analysis, and how that really can play into what you're wearing, should manifest what you're wanting to do, right? Like if I go home after work, and I change into pajamas, I'm probably not going to do anything.
I'm done for the day.
Done. Yep. Exactly.
My mind has just switched into off mode, and I'm going to watch TV and eat popcorn.
Yeah, exactly. So when I get home, I'm changing into workout clothes. So when I get that little itty bitty itch, I'm going down and I'm doing my exercise. But in any given day, we're playing multiple roles, and we should be all wearing what we need to wear for those roles, right? Yep. And so that's one of the other things I talk about, just how to get out of your own way and how to change some of the mindset pieces of, for instance, when you're driving. I think it's just so silly when people have road rage or just get so worked up about little things, because that has such a big impact on the other side of it that you don't even know you're doing.
Yeah, and you have to change thoughts. And by changing your appearance, by how you're dressing, by how you're feeling about things, you can change how you react to different things. And
yes, absolutely. And so
instead of laying on the horn, just say, scoot.
Oh, yeah. I taught matters education at the prison, so we went through those scenarios with road rage a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the easiest one to talk about. Everybody gets mad at the car in front of them, but how do you change your thought about that car? You're like, well, pretend like your grandma's driving the car, and if your grandma was driving the car, would you really be mad, or you just be happy she didn't run into a curb or get in an accident?
Well, and what makes somebody's destination more important than somebody else's? Mm-hmm. Because everybody is going somewhere. Right? Everyone is seeing somebody on the other side. And for me to think that I'm going to invoke feelings of anger and anxiety and in somebody else through a gesture or a word or a look because nobody could agree on who goes at the four-way stop, that's crazy, right? So, and that's a choice, right? Because I haven't had road rage, but I've been easily annoyed, I would say. And so just different things like that I talk about, and in the book, and just learning more about yourself and how to ignite your natural best self.
Yay.
That's awesome.
So recently you wanted to go back to school, I think, right?
Yep, I did.
So she's taking more schooling because she just loves. Okay, first of all, Jenny's one of those people that when she was going through nursing school, she'd get the textbook and read the textbook before the class started. I thought that was insane because I would get the textbook and I'd get a used one that was already highlighted and underlined. It's like, oh, this is good.
This is good.
This guy took good notes. I'm just going to read the highlighted parts and we're good to go. No. But anyway, so tell us about the new little side gig.
I love school, and I would go to school all the time if I could. And I went to college for 10 years. I have my doctorate in nursing. And so even after my nurse practitioner, I went a couple extra years just to do it, right? Just to do it. Why not? But right now I am actually enrolled in Markket University, and I am almost done becoming trained as a Markket method natural family planning educator. And there's many reasons that I am doing this, but my main reason is because I really am doing it to glorify God and and making sure that I am keeping his plan for love and for marriage and for family. And I'm sharing that with others because that's our role as laity, right? Is we can't rely on pastors or the priests to, spend all this extra time and explain. But I think my purpose for it is more to teach about the theological benefits of natural family planning. And so I could get into it, but, it has been very rewarding. And, I think if anything, it's going to create, more community. So people have others to rely on and to go to for support. Because natural family planning is not just for people that want to have children, right? It is for people in their fertile years, and that it can be a very long time, decades, right? And so it's something that we want to learn about, and I am not opposed to teaching my children, my girls about it, about their bodies and what it's doing. And so it's been, though, very rewarding, and I've worked with a lot of premarital couples prior to their marriage with the parish, and they've all been great. And I don't talk so much about like the charting and the hormone levels. I do, but I talk more about what the church teaches and why, because it's going to be really hard to get somebody to buy into natural family planning if they don't understand the why. Right. And I'd never understood.
Like anything.
Just like anything. Why. Exactly. And so, and I never understood the why, and up until a few years ago. And so I want to make sure that I am a resource in our community to give guidance and to promote that education and awareness. And so it's been very fruitful so far for me. And I'm almost done, but it's been a little bit extra that just
on top of everything else.
On top of it all. Yes. And but it'll be good when it's all done. Yeah. Thank you for asking about that.
You're welcome.
Well, speaking of education, you're fairly involved with St. Ed's. Can you talk about some of the stuff you do there?
Yes. Well, I'm a parent first and foremost, of course, but I am on the school board. Okay. And I have been on the school board now. I'm just finishing up my 4th year, so I'll be entering my 5th year. And when I first got on the school board, I was assigned to the Catholic Identity Committee. And so that's where things changed for me. It was like God was seeking me out all along, and he found me. And because he knew I was going to be loud and proud.
Yep.
And I am. But it's really been life-changing because when I got on this committee, I was Catholic, but I converted to Catholicism when I was like 21, and there's a lot to learn in 2 weeks. It's not 2 weeks, honey. It's like 8 months, but there's a lot to learn, right? And I didn't really spend the time to learn it and the why. And so when I got on the Catholic Identity Committee, it kind of forced me I had to learn. I wanted to learn about why we do what we do and what these different words mean and what these different programs are. And so that's helped. I mean, that's been really life-changing for me and for my family. And so I'm so grateful for that. But it's been also rewarding to help plant some seeds, whether just they're little seeds, even if they're coming from me, or different things that we're doing in our students and in our teachers and faculty, and then through their families and our community. And so so that's what I do, of course, but with the school board. But I feel like I do a lot of other things. I mean,
I think being a parent, and they really, I had kids who went to senior high and St. Ed's. And one of the things about St. Ed's is they really push the parents to be involved, where the senior high is kind of drop your kids off. And not all the time, don't get me wrong, there is
Sure.
those areas, but that's one of the biggest differences I've noticed between the two is the parents' involvement at St. Ed's is above and beyond. So just being a St. Ed's parent
yes.
is a job in and of itself.
Yes, we want to St. Edmond's, wants to partner with parents and families, right? Because parents are the primary educator of children. Like the school is very foundational and important, of course.
Kind of like lead by example.
Yeah.
You can drop a kid off for 7 or 8 hours a day with somebody else, but then when they come home and you're not leading by example, they still see that.
They notice.
Yeah. But it's just nice. It's, that's another thing too, is like when it's all one school, everyone kind of knows each other. And that's the thing about St. Edmond is they're instilling something so much bigger than what they realize. And they probably do realize it, but it's going to be a place that when my children start having children, that they're going to say, I want that experience for my kids. Right? You see that generational pattern because people are getting just this great like family faith experience. It's not even an experience, but it's that formation, and that you really can't get anywhere else. And so yeah, it's great, and it's growing. I mean, it's growing, and that's so wonderful. And to be able to, be a part of that, certainly it does create like, okay, what are we going to do about this? Like we got to start thinking about this and more of that planning piece. Mm-hmm. But it's all good. There's a lot of really, really great things happening at our school and at our church, and at the hospital, they're going to be expanding on a big surgical renovation.
Yep, brand new build. They started digging the groundbreakings.
They did.
When this airs, the groundbreaking will have happened.
Yes, they did. And so that's going to be wonderful. And so you just see all of these, and then the community, of course, is growing, and it's exciting. It really is. And I just love our community because it allows me to be a part of something really big, but it's also small enough where I feel like I can still be involved. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like I'm involved in all of these different things, and
anybody can. Anybody can,
right? And that's where
at whatever level.
And I do talk about that in my book too, right? Like
Get involved. Like make the call, even if that door doesn't open. You tried. Yeah.
And eventually that door will open.
I mean, we've talked about it before. It's like if you love downtown and old buildings and you just moved here, well, we have a downtown committee. Go get on it.
Mm-hmm. Main Street Fort Dodge would love you.
Yeah. Go and throw your ideas in there and maybe work your way up and get your own project.
There you go.
It just takes all the extra. It just takes a little extra time. Mm-hmm. But I don't have social media, so I have a lot of extra time.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that
you have social media?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have all of them times 10.
Oh no. Yeah. I've been liberated from that beast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's hard with everything I do to not have social media, and
it is hard. It is hard for people, but I think if it's such a rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. And a time sucker, and I have to remember that I can't tell my children not to do something if I'm doing it, right? Like I don't want my children remembering me scrolling on my phone. Mm-hmm. And I would much rather have them see me like doing something, leaving that legacy, and doing something that really fulfills me and gives me purpose, helps me with future opportunities, opens that door, and and just learning about the world and, people.
Well, I think you already answered it, but this is kind of to end it. But what is the thing that you love the most about living and working in Fort Dodge?
I mean, I don't know. I do know. I did just kind of explain that. I think it's just having those opportunities, being able to stay involved, not only with committees or with different programs or with work, but with my children, right? Because even though, yes, I am an author, or I am doing school, or I'm a healthcare provider, I am a mom, right? And like everything that I do is for my children. And so it's really important that I am present for them, and whether that's for my children's programs, or I gotta run home and grab something for them, I'm able to do those things. I am.
You want to know what we did for our kids last night?
What?
We decided as a family to ride our bikes out to Kennedy. So we do. And we have one little guy that his little legs are a little tiny,
it's
right?
the Isaac, right?
Isaac,
He's
yeah.
like pumping his little legs.
It's in her notes.
So we get to Harlan, and
That's
we're like, we have to have a talk. Because if we all make it out to Kennedy, we have a couple ones wearing down a little bit. And
They're not going to make it home.
they
No.
ain't making it home.
I was
So it's
riding
like-
at like 4 miles an hour, and
So it's like Jenny took 2 of the kids, and then I decided to take Isaac and another one. We went back home. Then I got in the car, drove out to Kennedy to pick up the other 2, and then Jenny rode home by herself.
Oh, nice.
and it was a fabulous ride home.
You got to go more than 4 miles an hour.
I did. I got to go very fast,
And
and
she did go really fast because I had the other 2 kids, and we actually went around the campground kind of slow. We kind of looked things through, like blah, blah, blah. And then we came out, and it's like, well, where's Mom? Where's Mom? Where's Mom? Holy crap, she's all the way down there already.
Yep, I wasn't messing around. Plus, it was getting dark.
Yeah.
I told them, I'm like, you guys, I got to get home.
Yeah. I don't want to get run over.
You don't want me riding through the cornfield in the dark.
Yeah, there's children that play in the corn.
I heard about
yeah.
that.
Oh boy. Yeah. So anyway, Jeremiah got me a decked out Trek bike for Mother's Day, I think last year, because I just loved the Peloton, and we've had some fun rides on it. So we're actually at a point where we can leave the kids and go do our own thing, or go on a bike ride, like, for an hour or 2, or for the day, like now, right?
Yeah.
Todd could go for a bike ride with us. He's got a scooter.
I've got an e-bike.
Oh,
And I got a Harley, so if we really going to go fast.
So he never gets tired.
yeah. I hope you wear your helmet.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
On both of them.
I always make Jeremiah wear his helmet, don't I?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Even when they make fun of me.
So, well, this was really fun, you guys. And yeah, I'm so happy to have had this experience and to see like what you guys do. And I mean, I know what you do.
And just to be the cutest darn guest we've ever had.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Don't you think?
If that doesn't help later, I don't know what will.
I don't know either. I will give him lots of projects.
Oh, there you go.
That's what fills my bucket.
Yes, exciting.
Yep, that's right.
Thank you for being here, Jenny.
Yep, thank you so much.
Like, share, subscribe. Watch all the videos.
That's a wrap at today's episode of Talk Fort Dodge.
Stay connected with us on social media and join us next time as we continue exploring Fort Dodge's stories through the lens of 2 lifelong Dodgers. I'm Jeremiah Condon.
And I'm Todd McCubbin, and this is Talk Fort Dodge.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digital agent at spinmarketwith2ks.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarketwith2ks.com.